Hi everyone, I am Fahimeh. I am Associate Director of Data Science in Digital Medicine at Pfizer. Today I want to talk about my work, which is about nighttime scratch detection in atopic dermatitis using convolutional neural network and wrist-worn wearable devices. So atopic dermatitis is a chronic type of eczema that affects more than 15% of adults and 20% of children. And the current status for this disease is based on the patient and caregiver questionnaires and also the physician's clinical assessments of the rash. So since 2018, at Pfizer, they conducted multiple studies with the goal of finding a way to quantify the disease state using the wearable devices during sleep. So they conducted 3 studies. The first one is called SQUAT, the second Mosaic, and the third one is SOC, is just the abbreviation. And they had in each categories, covers different age ranges, and then they gradually increased the number of subjects. So they asked people to come to the sleep lab, and they were given a gene-active device, and they stayed 2 nights in the sleep lab, and there was also an infrared camera to capture the motion and to basically use this data later on to annotate whether they were scratching or not. And the result of the first study, SQUAD, is already published in Nature Digital Medicine. And they used a classical machine learning approach to basically detect scratch versus other types of motion. So they pre-processed the data, they extracted 36 features, feature selection, reduced it to 26, and they use random forest, and they use leave one out for cross-validation. And this is what they got. So they had 33 subjects, and they got 73% accuracy and 61% sensitivity. And here, besides a moderate accuracy, they also had a large standard deviation. And also, when these results was presented to European Medicine Agency, they were also concerned whether these accuracies are good enough. So when I got the data, I started, since I got lot more data, 185 subjects, I used a more complex model. I used convolutional neural network to improve the performance. I started with the raw data with the idea that maybe with the raw data we can capture the whole variance of the data and we can detect scratch. So I used 3 seconds of the data with all 3 channels and input the data as an image to the model. I controlled for the imbalanced classes, and in total I had 1 million samples of the data. I built multiple architectures of CNN, but this architecture is the best that worked, which had 32 layers of 2 by 2 convolutional layers, followed by a dense layer of 64 nodes. And but unfortunately, the accuracy was 69%, so not really impressive. But then I added high-pass filtering, which means that the only thing it does is removing the DC shift in the data. So if you pay attention, all of the amplitudes on the left side is almost a little bit random. But after doing the high-pass filtering, it removed the DC and all the data comes around 0. And interestingly, it improves the model by 10%. So all of the metrics, accuracy, sensitivity, all of the metrics jump 10%. And in addition, the CNN was very stable. So I run it multiple times and the standard deviation was around 1%. So pretty stable, the model. And here are examples of the learning curves. On the left side is the loss function that by training the model, the loss values it can reduce over the epochs, and the blue curve is the training and the red one is the validation. And on the right side is the accuracy that increase over epochs. So in summary, it seems that the pre-processing step does affect the model performance, and the good news is we can quantify scratch and detect it from other types of motion. And this we have, since we trained the model on a big age range of from 2 to 75 years. So this model is generalizable to all age ranges, basically. And it seems that the deep learning approach works better than the classical machine learning approach. And the other advantage of CNN is that it's very fast to implement, because with a classical machine learning, it takes you need to extract features, do feature selection, that takes a long time. But with CNN, it's much more faster to implement. And of course, with using nowadays with GPU, all these training times goes down to several minutes from several hours. Yeah. And I would like to appreciate my colleagues at Pfizer who put a lot of efforts for this project. And thanks for your attention.